How's it going, everybody? My name is Devil9, and welcome to the Automatic Diamond Crafter Mark II. I shouldn't do that, I might break pipes. So this is the Automatic Diamond Crafter Mark II, very similar to the Mark I, some few minor changes, which I'll walk you through now. So the coal compressor hasn't really, the whole coal to diamonds has not been changed at all. Minor change here, iron, instead of going back and forth in this pipe, it now gets sent into over here. And this is the biggest change, is barrels. I made a barrel for everything. Everything is in a barrel. Actually, not really everything. Um, there are 4 unique items, 1, 2, 3, or 5 unique items that I didn't have barrels for. I didn't want to make it 5 high because I already can't reach the top barrels. I have to jump to get to them. But these, everything's in a barrel now. We have 287 diamonds. I'm just going to show some of the more impressive numbers. 1,181 UU matter, 4,683 redstone, 5,080 tin, 5,382 copper. And you may be wondering, well, a barrel is supposed to be 64 times 64. How did you get 73 times 64 in it? And that is from an upgrade called the barrel extra dimensional upgrade, which, if you're curious, I'll do a little bonus at the end of this. I'll show you how to make that guy, because it's actually pretty easy, but not, once you know how, but not really the most logical way to do it. As you can see, most of these quarries have finished. I still need to clean this up, but I think the processing plant is, in its current form, is done. Quarries just need to be cleaned up. I want to get rid of those bars and even things out. Dispenser, I made some change to the redstone circuitry. So now it's a little more complex, but we have this switch is a master off. When that switch is set, this clock will not run. And this button is the igniter. So if I hit the igniter when the clock is set to off, it'll just send 1 tick through. This is hooked up to a monostable. It's just designed to prime the circuit. But if we set it to on, you can see it's not running until we hit the primer. And then this extends just long enough to give it to load this repeater with current. And this descends just long enough so that if the clock was, say, full, so let's say we log out and log back in and the clock is overloaded, this piston will de-extend, unextend, I don't know, will retract, there we go, will retract just long enough to depower this one will extend just long enough to power this one, so it ends up one's powered, the other's not powered, and the clock runs. You can see that here. And that's how the clock runs. It's just 2 monostable circuits, 2-tick one set to the igniter and a 3-tick one set to the unigniter. I don't know. Everything else is pretty much the same. Coal is being compressed into diamond at a rate of 64 to 1. Most of this is still the same. I do want to possibly replace this with a barrel, although that would require a lot of reworking as you can only take out from the bottom of a barrel. So I'll work on that. I have a world anchor here for when I'm not around. I want this to keep processing. And this is a change. I made my main input up to the top here, and this is a chest if I just want anything to go into the processing plant. And then everything else gets run into this iron pipe. And I'm not using diamonds as one-ways anymore. I realized afterwards that that's not what you're supposed to do, and your iron pipes exist for a reason. I'm not using diamonds as one-ways, but this is ridiculous. The sorting between all of these, sending everything to the barrels, took a lot of work. But it all works, and it's pretty sweet. Now before we get into that little bonus I talked about, I'm going to show you something else I've been working on over here, my refinery. So I found a big old geyser of oil right here, kind of annoyingly far away for actually powering anything. But I found a big geyser of oil, siphoned it all, never bothered to take out the pump, but I made a shitload of fuel. As you can see, all 3, 4, 5 high fuel tanks and 1 4 high oil tank. Well, it's 5 high, but only 4 filled. 2 refineries, still a whole bunch of fuel in the tubes and in the refineries. Everything's still running. Refineries are electrically powered. Sometimes they say no fuel. If I unload the chunks, I just have to break and replace the solar panel or replace one of these wires. That usually works too. And yeah, as soon as I break the wire, they realize they had fuel, and then I put it back. So the refinery runs on clean energy. It runs on solar. The pump is running on solar. Both refineries are running on solar electrical engines, but it creates a whole bunch of fuel, which go to these combustion engines. And I have switches. Each switch switches on 2 combustion engines, which is how much you need to power 1 quarry. So each switch produces 1 quarry's worth of power. And I have this tube is giving them fuel to the back, and then there's another tube underneath. That's just, this stone pipe is just to hold up the sand so it looks a little nicer. But I have all this water down here, and these pumps are just taking out water, and every 2 engines has its own dedicated pump, and the engines have to power their own pumps. The pumps are not electrically powered. It was at first, but the way I had it, I could only fit 1 pump in with the electrical engines, so it just didn't really fit, because that wouldn't power enough to give coolant to all of them. But 1 pump for each one works fine. They're cheap. And then the gold conductive pipe sends all the energy, and I can hook that up to whatever quarry my heart desires and produce everything you see here. 872 item.appetite.name. So I think that is the main upgrades of the new quarry, the new power line. I don't think these were here last time. I added 2 more MFSUs to give myself some extra current, 2 more medium voltage transformers for extra current as well. And yeah, looking good. Looking good. And you can also see I threw some facades on these pipes so that you can't see them. But what's annoying is that if you left click a facade, it will break the pipe behind it. And sometimes if you kind of click off to the side, I end up breaking diamond pipes, which is really annoying. I rage quit for like a week and a half because I broke one of the I think it was the most complex diamond pipe in here. I accidentally broke it. I've rage quit for like 2 weeks. Just came back recently. But that is it. The quarry processing plant / automatic diamond crafter Mark II. Now let's get into a little video I promised you. Alright, so we're back, and today it's time to show you how to make the extra dimensional barrel upgrade, which will let you store up to 1024 stacks of 64. Or if things don't stack to 64, it'll do 1024 times 64 times 64 items. Like for things such as signs, it'll do, like a standard barrel will do 256 stacks, because they only stack 16. But actually, a normal barrel is actually worse than an iron chest. Cheaper, but an iron chest will hold 72 stacks. This will only hold 64 stacks. But with the extra dimensional upgrade, 1024, it is ridiculous. So here's what you're going to need. You're going to need a crafting table, a barrel, a block of iron, a craft packet stamper, which you make with, it's very cheap, 3 iron, piston, 4 cobble, and a crafting table. Nice and simple right there. And a few extra ingredients, which I'm going to show you. So you put this into your crafting table, 4 obsidian, 4 TNT, and a diamond block. Kind of expensive, and you're going to get this craft packet. So you can pull that out, and then you put that into your stamper, and that is going to give you 18 diamond shards. Now with these diamond shards, you put 1 and another brick, and you're going to get a wrath igniter. Now the wrath igniter will ignite any block that you light, and it's a special fire that will only spread to blocks of the same type. But from my test, it will spread infinitely to blocks of the same type, as long as it stays in loaded chunks. Like I lit the sand on fire, it kept spreading and spreading and spreading until I unloaded the chunks, and then the fire disappears. Um, However, it will not, if you light the sand on fire, it won't light the iron. If you light the iron on fire, it won't light the sand. So it's a special kind of fire, and what it also does is it turns blocks into other blocks. So when you use it on the iron, so this is the wrath fire that you get, and you can see its durability goes down pretty quickly. So it is kind of expensive, but you do get 18 diamond shards. You can make 18 igniters from one diamond block. And after it burns, it's going to create a dark iron block. Now, if you need to make a whole bunch of these, you can put a 10 by 10 thing of iron blocks, light one, it'll light all of them, turn them all into dark iron. What you get is this dark iron block, and I don't have a pickaxe. Give me some diamonds and sticks. These things are so handy. I forgot to bring a pickaxe to this. And I keep all my items in another world because I want to keep the desert clean. So here's our diamond pick. We break this and we're going to get a dark iron block of dark iron, which we can craft into 4 dark iron ingots. Put these in this crafting table in this way. You're going to get an extra dimensional barrel upgrade. Control right click or shift right click, whatever, crouch key right click. And you can see it gets these little things on the corners. It's now an extra dimensional barrel. It'll hold 1024 stacks. You break the barrel and you get the upgrade back as well as the barrel. Just right clicking and it'll put it in the barrel. But there you go. That's how you make the extra dimensional barrel upgrades. Not too expensive. It really just took kind of 1 block of iron. I have abundant amounts of everything else. So just 1 block of iron for each of these, and you can still see I have 7 times 64 plus 40 blocks of iron. So not too expensive, and they make your barrels ridiculously useful. So there you go. That's how you do it. Make extra dimensional barrel upgrades, and that is what is powering the Auto Diamond Crafting Quarry Processing Plant Mark II. I'll see you next time if I ever do anything else cool in Feed the Beast. Bye for now.